It's the Last Stand Podcast. And here's your host, Brian Custer.
Hello and welcome to The Last Stand, the unfiltered, straight talk from some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment. I am Brian Custer, and today's guest comes from the sport of boxing. He's the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world, now one of the top contenders at 140 pounds. He's known as Rougarou. He's none other than Regis Prograis. Regis, welcome to The Last Stand.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's good to have you because on Halloween night, you're back in the ring, and it'll be almost well over a year since you have fought. And in this time of COVID, fighters having to be cautious, any fear of ring rust when you get back into the ring?
To be honest, no, I don't, and I know a lot of people say to be honest, but I'm really honest about it. I don't have a fear because I've been training since my last fight. Of course, I fought a year ago. It'll be almost exactly a year. I fought the last year, October 27th. So, the 31st, a year, almost exactly a year ago. But I've been training the whole time. I literally been training the whole time. I had a few fights that fell out. I was already in 3 training camps already. So I don't feel like I'll have ring rust. Of course, we'll see when it happens. When I do fight, we'll always see. But I kind of been training the whole time. The whole time since the corona disease hit, I've been training. Before the corona, I've been training, and during the corona, I've been training. So, and I've been was in 3 training camps already. So, I don't think I'll have ring rust. But of course, you never know.
Give me your thoughts, because you're going to be fighting on the same pay-per-view card as Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, back in your new adopted home state of Texas and in front of fans. So it will be the first major boxing card in front of fans. What are your thoughts?
I'm blessed. Every time things just keep getting better and better and better, when they told me, this was going to happen, this event was going to happen, I was just, of course, I was very happy about that. But now, they moved it a week later and having fans now. And it's this could be a huge card on Halloween. I have a very, very busy October, but I can't wait, man. I really can't wait. I think this is gonna be a major event. Historic wise, I think it'll be good because this is the first, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first sporting event that's gonna have fans since since the corona happened. So I'm just very excited to be a part of this, and I just I've been kind of training my ass off, and I'm gonna go out there and do my thing.
Certainly a first for the sport of boxing. First time in the ring for you since you suffered your only loss to Josh Taylor over there in Scotland, where you lost your title. Biggest lesson you learned from that fight when you look back on it, you looked at the video, and when you think back on that, biggest lesson you took from that fight?
Well, first off, I still thought I won. Honestly, I feel like if it was here, and don't get me wrong, I don't want people to look and say he's making excuses. No, I feel like if the fight was here, I don't, not saying excuses. I don't want people to look at this and say, they robbed me, because they didn't rob me. The judges didn't rob me. But I do feel that if the fight was here in the U.S., I would have got the nod. I definitely feel that. It was a very, very close fight. But the main thing, it was a good fight, and Josh Taylor was a very, very good fighter. But I just feel like I just fell asleep. I know what I did. I fell asleep in the middle rounds. I gave up the middle rounds, and that's kind of what I did. So that's the biggest lesson I learned. But it's something I learned about myself. Prior to that fight, I didn't know if I can go to war for 12 rounds. Me and Josh Taylor, we fought 12 hard rounds. It wasn't, I fought 12 rounds before against Terry Flanagan, but, I kind of outboxed him, and I was real slick. Me and Josh Taylor, we went to war for 12 rounds, and I didn't know that about myself. I didn't know if I could do that. I know I can beat people up and stuff, but I'll stop them, I'll knock them out, but I did it 12 rounds. We went to war, and it was an intense pace the whole time. And I didn't know if I really questioned myself and I didn't know if I can do it or not, stamina wise, but I did it. And, now I really answer that question about myself. I can go 12 really hard rounds and then even more, because I actually, the last 2 and 3 rounds, I picked it up. I picked up the pace on them, so but the main thing, just going back to your question, was I fell asleep. I know I fell asleep in the middle rounds, and that's all. And I kind of just needed like a slap in the face, basically. I just need somebody to slap me in my face, wake your ass up, go knock this dude out, and that's all I needed. But I didn't have that in the fight, so but it's a learning lesson.
So on Halloween night, you're going to be taking on the unbeaten Juan Heraldez. Certainly a step up in competition for him. What should boxing fans expect when you two get into the ring?
I mean, as far as his side, I can't say what he's gonna do, right? But as far as me, I'm gonna go out there and do my thing. I'm gonna go out there and have fun. I really enjoy boxing. Boxing is something, I love to do. I'm gonna go out there and just have a lot of fun, do my thing, and try to steal a show and be spectacular. That was my whole thing coming up. It's not just about winning, it's how you win. I don't want to be a boring fighter. My style is exciting, and I'm going to bring that, and then that's what I bring to the table. I bring exciting style to the table. I have defense. I have, of course, a lot of offense, a shitload of power. I definitely have a strong chin. It's not too many people that can definitely hurt me. So I'm just going to go out there and just give the fans what they want to see, and that's being excited, and that's what I'm gonna do. Now, Heraldez, I don't know, I can't speak for him, but I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna do my thing, and I want to be spectacular.
You recently negotiated a buyout with your promoter Lou DiBella, and you signed this one-fight deal with the PBC. Not Top Rank, but PBC. Tell me why.
Al Heyman, man. Al Heyman just always. Al Heyman takes care of his fighters and just gets his fighters paid, and I just think, like, this stage of my career, this is where I need to be, I didn't do the Top Rank thing because, I mean, they didn't promise me what I wanted. Top Rank, what I want to be is a world champion again at 140. That's before I moved to 147. I would have to be. It's just something in my heart I want to be. I want to be a champion again at 140. So Top Rank couldn't promise me Josh Taylor or Jose Ramirez. They just couldn't promise it to me. So I was just like, well, if you can't promise it to me, then I'll go somewhere else. I have to go do something else, so because that's really what I wanted. And, I'll just be fighting basically, people that doesn't have the belt, that's not a champion and stuff like that. So if I'm not going to do that, I'll do something else basically. So hopefully, I do. But like I said, I still, it's kind of hard to talk about those things, but, without saying the wrong stuff, you know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, I want to be a champion again at 140. So that's, and they couldn't promise that to me. So I left it alone.
And so going forward, are we going to see you on the PBC platforms? Or is it just a one-off?
I can't say it's a one-off, I really can't say it's a one-off. I actually talked to, the man yesterday. We called him the man, the legend yesterday. And, he said, I think this going to be a real good fit for you. So, most likely I'll be at PBC.
Talking about the PBC, we had a PBC fighter here on the show a couple of weeks ago, Adrien Broner. And we brought your name up as a future fight for Adrien Broner. Recently, Regis Prograis has talked about fighting you. He's now signed with the PBC. Is that fight realistic in your future?
Yeah, it can be realistic, but he don't got nothing for me. That's nothing.
Your response to Adrien Broner?
I mean, I've been hearing that from Adrien Broner already. I think it'll be a huge fight. I definitely think it'll be a huge fight one day. I just gotta, I gotta do my thing. I gotta do my thing on Halloween night, and it's a fight I wanted for a long time. When I fought Joe Diaz on Showtime, a few years ago. I called out Adrien Broner and Terrence Crawford. I've been on Adrien Broner for a long, long time. And I think it'll be a great fight. But I actually don't plan on winning that fight. I plan on stopping, like just winning, not just. I don't plan on just winning that fight. I plan on, you know, I want to be the first person to stop AB. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it'll be a tough task. I don't think I can just beat him. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really think like I can. Like I really feel like I can stop him. I'm not. If that fight ever happens and I'm in training camp, I'm not going to the fight. I'm not going into training camp to beat him. I'm just not. That's not something I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna go into training camp thinking I have to stop him, basically, you know. So that's, I think, and that'll make a huge statement to the boxing world, you know, because AB is tough. Don't get me wrong, you know, he took a beating from Marcus Maidana. He still lasted the whole 12 rounds. You know, he fought Pacquiao, he fought Mike Garcia, you know, he fought some good opponents and stuff like that, you know. But if you know, if I go out there and stop him and do what I say I'm gonna do, that'll make a huge statement. And that's what I want to do. So I mean, and then me and AB, we had words like indirectly through like mutual friends, basically. You know, he knows a lot of the same people I know, like in the hip hop community and all that type of stuff. So we had, you know, me and him, we always have those indirect words, you know. So I think it'll be a fun fight. I think it'll be a huge fight. And I think if we do the fight at 140, that'll be the biggest fight. You know, nobody won't pay attention to nobody else. That'll be the biggest fight at 140 they can make between me and him, you know, because both of us got loud mouths. I'm not gonna stop talking. He's not gonna stop talking. You know, we both got big personalities. We both know the same people. We both come from the same type of place. So I think that'll be a huge fight.
Yeah, because I think I read your quote was, Adrien Broner, he's a clown. And he was certainly dismissive of you when I brought your name up. What do you think of Adrien Broner as a person?
I mean, I think he's a clown, bro. Like, and when I say clown, I mean it. I'm not meaning it in a horrible, bad way, because I could be a clown sometimes. I'm pretty sure everybody could be a clown sometimes, you know. But I think he could be the bad type of clown. I definitely think sometimes he is the bad type of clown, but I think he could, you know, the good type of clown too. He just how he is, you know. Like I met Adrien Broner. I want to say the first time he came to Savannah's boxing gym, and he was fighting on like a Juan Diaz undercard, and that's when Juan Diaz was like the champion and stuff. And so I met him, and he was like showing me all his kids. I don't know if you remember that, but I met him in the gym, and he was like, that was way before he was like the Adrien Broner. That was like he had a few fights and stuff, so he was like a nobody, and I was still an amateur at the time. And like we kind of sat like how I'm sitting right now. He was like sat next to me and just showing me all his kids. It was just real friendly, you know. So I don't think he's like I don't think he's like a bad person like that, you know. I just think that's just his personality. He's a funny man. He could be a clown both ways, you know. And most people that know him personally, they say, you know, Adrien Broner is just a funny person. That's just how he is. It's not like he's a bad person. That's just him, you know. He's just a clown. So he could be a clown both ways, basically.
You and Maurice Hooker, you guys were supposed to fight, as you talked about here at the beginning, a couple of times this year. First time it was canceled because of COVID. Then you guys couldn't come to an agreement on a catch weight. He's obviously has since moved up to welterweight 147 and said, and I want to quote him, that you knew that you guys weren't going to fight. And then you started talking, quote, like a little girl. He's childish, end quote. What's your response to that?
Listen, bro, I feel like me and Maurice could definitely have bad blood. You know, I think we just don't like each other, whatever. I said some things about him, but I try to make the fight happen. And I wasn't talking because the fight wasn't totally salvaged yet. I thought that I was talking to make him try to make the weight so we can actually do the fight, you know, and I can expose Maurice Hooker because we was actually on FaceTime together. You know, I don't have to expose him, but we was actually on FaceTime together and stuff like that. But anyways, you know, the whole. And
he was going to come down to the catch weight because he was saying you knew that he was going to be at 147 and that he had no plans of coming down.
That's what he's saying now. But he said he was trying to like make the weight. They said he was trying to make the weight. That's what he told him. Listen, on FaceTime, we was talking on FaceTime. He said, I need to talk to my cousin and stuff like that, see if I can make the weight. We was like, bro, make the fucking weight. Like, you need to make this weight. I don't plan to go to 147 unless I'm a champion again at 140. That's my goal. That's my personal goal. I'm not going to change it unless it's for a shitload of money, of course. Money changes everything. We know that. But that's just my personal goal. I want to be at 140. I want to stay at 140. I want to be a champion again at 140 before I move up to 147. The fight originally, before Corona, the fight was April 17th, and it was it was scheduled for April 17th, and it was supposed to be at 140. He couldn't make 140, so we agreed to 143. We was like, fine, we could do 143. Then Corona hit. Of course, that whole fight, went down the drain. Then we tried to bring it back, and he was like, he's too big. He's at 140. He gonna try to come back at 147. I was like, I'm not going to 147. How about we do 144? I'll give him a pound. First off, it's supposed to be at 140, but I'll give him the pound. Now it's 4 pounds because it was supposed to be at 40. Then after that, it was supposed to be at 43. I'll give him the pound. Let's do 44. I think he told Dan Rafael he can make 145. And at first I think it was like kind of who was the head honcho type of thing. Cause I was like, I'm not making 145. Let's do 144. You could drop another pound. And he was saying the same to me. You can come up another pound. So then I was like, you know what? Like, no, let's not do that. Then I just told my manager, I was just sick of waiting. I told him, let's do 145. All right, we'll do 145. And my manager came back and was like, they at 147. They're not doing 140, nothing except at 147. So I was just like, whatever. And then after that, I don't know what he's talking. I kept talking. I just left it alone. I knew after I knew he wasn't fighting, I wasn't talking no more. Unless somebody asked me about it, but I didn't say nothing about his name no more. After I knew he wasn't fighting, it's no point. I'm not gonna talk about him and stuff like that after that. And I wrote him on, I think I put something on Instagram about him. And he wrote me saying, like, you all talk or something like that. I said, make the weight, you can see who all talk. If you make that weight and you can see who all talk. And he said, and then he texted me, he wrote me on Instagram saying, I'm at 147, do you? And that was it. So he's at 147, I'm at 140, whatever. And that fight got salvaged, so whatever.
So it sounds like that ship has sailed when it comes to Maurice Hooker.
For right now, I will go up to 147, but I just think, like, he just – listen, I saw a picture of him in training camp, like, when he was huge. And that's probably why he was – whatever he was doing, he was huge. And that's why he couldn't make the weight and stuff like that. It's not – why should I be faulted because you can't make the weight? It don't make sense. For me, it doesn't make sense. Like, I should be faulted because I'm fighting at my original weight. He's still ranked at 140 right now. You're supposed to be at 140. You the one can't make 147 because you're too big. You ate too much or whatever you did. I don't know what he did, but he was huge. I saw him. I think maybe that's probably what got him because I think that was the last little poke I did at him because I posted a picture of him jump roping. His stomach was huge, way out. And it was huge. So I think that's why he was like, maybe he kept talking after. That was the last thing. I just wanted to poke at him just a little longer because you're just undisciplined, like you're a fighter. You get paid high 6 figures, 7 figures to fight, and you're undisciplined. You're that big. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, I've been training the whole time. I never got that big. I never been that big in my life, so, but that's,
yeah. Well, let's talk about you because obviously from New Orleans. How does a kid from New Orleans get into the sport of boxing?
Honestly, bro, I just grew up fighting. I just grew up on the street. I grew up fighting. That was the main thing. I played every sport. I did karate when I was young, and I remember like going to karate, and then like I kept quitting because I played football, played basketball, I ran track. And I remember I was like a good swimmer and stuff. I still am a good swimmer, but I was a good swimmer. The coaches wanted me to be on the swim team, but I kind of didn't want to do it. But I always was like an athlete, and I always could do all kinds of things. But fighting was something I just love to do. Like I don't have to be like, I remember getting in fights in school, and I wasn't mad about the fight. Like I would like to do it. I love to fight. It wasn't like, oh, I'm mad at this dude, so I'm gonna fight him and stuff. Like I'm happy to fight. I can smile. I can fight with a smile on my face. That's just how it was. And I remember going to like karate, and I kept quitting and going back and stuff like that. And one day, like I went back, and I was already like fighting on the street with the gloves, and I went to karate, and I hit somebody with those little bitty gloves on, and I hurt him. And the sensei was like cool with my parents and stuff like that. So they was just like, man, you gotta he got to go box. He cannot do karate no more. And at that time, I stopped kicking. I didn't want to kick no more. I was just like, all right, I want to kick no more.
I just want to throw them hands.
Yeah, I just want to throw my hands. That was it. And I was like strong. I was always strong for my size because I played football and I was like lifting weights at an early age and stuff like that. So I hit somebody and I really hurt them in the karate. They had to stop the whole karate, you know, because in karate, the objective of the sport is to like just get the point. You pull back your punches. In boxing, it's the total opposite. You punch through your opponent, right?
Yes. Yep.
So I mean, they kind of kicked me out of there. Then I think I was probably like 12 or something. And then I started playing football, and I played football like all in like high school and all that type of stuff. And we used to always in New Orleans, we would like the football players would get in the boxing gloves. And like one day I went in the room and I heard all this noise, and it was a room, and like in New Orleans is corrupt. So the teachers and all that was in there. Teachers, girls, cheerleaders, all that was in the room. So I went in there and they opened the door, everything got quiet, and they opened the door and it was like, man, you can't come in unless you fight. And then they already had a dude in the middle of the classroom with some gloves on. And they basically like, I was like, I just looked around. One of my partners looked at him. His name Shadibu. He dead now, but he looked at me, was like, he kind of gave me that look. And I was like, all right. And I put the gloves on. I whooped the dude. I whooped him bad. And then after that, and I was known as, it's crazy we talking about AB being a clown, but I was known as a clown in school too. I was like a class clown. That's what I would always do, be bad and stuff like that. So everybody knew me as a class clown. They didn't know I can fight. So I went and I whooped the dude. Then all of a sudden, my reputation just changed. I was known as being a fighter, a good fighter, and not a clown no more. So then I went to, you know, we'll do that like every Friday. We'll get in the gloves, and I just kept whooping it. I kept beating everybody. I just kept whooping them. And then one day, the football coach, the offensive coordinator, football coach, he was in there, and like I said, I was still playing football, and he told me, he pulled me to the side after we was done. He was like, look, bro, like, I don't think you have a future in football, which I didn't. I know I didn't, but you probably do have a future in fighting. And that same week, I turned in my football equipment to the coaches. I didn't want to do it no more, and I kind of didn't want to do it anyway, but that kind of confirmed everything. And I turned in my football equipment, and I went to the boxing gym the next week. And at that time, I was in 10th grade, the middle of the school year. So I was going to the gym for like a month. My grades started dropping, so my mama took me out, and then I had to start again in the summertime and around May when school ended. And then of course Hurricane Katrina hit that August. So I was only boxing for like 3 months or something like that before Hurricane Katrina hit. And
you know the sad part of that, Regis, is that those are teachers and they letting y'all fight in school. To me, that's crazy.
New Orleans is a place like no other place in the country, man. It's corrupt, man. It's mob run, and that's just how it is, you know. And so the teachers, but listen, if that teacher would never been, I would never been talking to you right now. If that teacher would never turned in my equipment, he said, "Look, you don't have a future in football, but you do have it in fighting." If I would never did that, I would never be talking to you right now. So I'm glad that I hope this teacher see this and come up to me one day and be like, "Man, I'm the one that told you that."
There you go. And you talked about Hurricane Katrina because that hit when you were a teenager. How did that Hurricane Katrina? How did that affect you in your fighting career?
So I mean, it was like I just had to just move around. First off, when Katrina hit, I was 16. I just started, you know. So when Hurricane Katrina hit, I just moved around. Like I went to 5 different high schools, just moved around city to city, living in hotels and all that. I came to Houston first, you know, where I'm at now. I came to Houston, then I went to Slidell, then I went to Mississippi, and then I came back to Houston. Then once I came back to Houston, that's when that's when I started going to Savannah boxing gym, and that's when I kind of started boxing and stuff.
I read about you and at the beginning of your career, it's hard to believe you basically made nothing. It seemed like for the first 10 fights of your professional career.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like the first 10 fights. Yeah, and Lou DiBella had signed me after my 10th fight. But yeah, my first 10 fights, bro, like I was making. My first fight, I made I think like $500. My second fight, I made $50. And then after that, third fight, I think I made a little something. But my fourth fight, I made $0. I still have the check. It's a $1 check because the promoter has to pay. So it was a $1 check, and I still have that check. And I made that same $1 check for 3 fights. you know, and but I just kind of always believed in myself. That was just something about me. I always believed in myself, and I felt like I was always gonna be here, you know. So it's, you know, and then I didn't have a manager at the time, and we had money and stuff. So, you know, basically we'll just be paying for our own fights. You know, you go to those club shows, you know how it is. You go to those club shows, you gotta pay for your opponent and selling tickets and stuff. So that's what I had to do. I had to sell tickets, and I still came out the amateurs as in Olympic trials, from the Olympic trials. So the opponents would want a lot to pay, you know, a lot of money and stuff. So I wouldn't make nothing. My opponents would want, you know, like $3,000 and stuff like that. So basically all the tickets I sold went straight to my opponent. So I would make weight, do all that stuff, and just don't get paid. And it went like that. Like I said, went like that for 10 fights, you know. And then after that, you know, Lou DiBella picked me up. Lou DiBella took a chance with me. That's why I'll always be grateful for Lou DiBella, because he took a chance with me. And then after that, you know, I just soared off.
Yeah, now look at you now, man. Making big checks now, huh?
Big
checks now.
Right.
Regis, give me the one fighter who's had the biggest influence on you and your career.
Mike Tyson was always my favorite fighter, basically. Mike Tyson, Duran, and Pernell Whitaker. You know, that was always like. But Mike Tyson was just. I just remember being like watching like highlights and stuff like that. Of course, because I'm not the age where Mike Tyson was fighting and stuff like that. So I watched his highlights, and I was like, I want to be like that dude one day. Like this little short, stocky man just knocking all these giants out. You know, like the David and Goliath type of thing. He was just knocking these dudes out like it wasn't nothing. And I was like, I want to be like him one day. And then, you know, I started getting older. I started looking at more boxing. Then I discovered Roberto Duran. And Duran is amazing. Like, oh, my God, his skill set is just crazy. And then Pernell Whitaker is a southpaw. You have to watch Pernell Whitaker. You just have to. You know, it's just something, it's like it's required studying. Like they're doing school, required reading. You got to watch Pernell Whitaker as a southpaw, you know. And but now lately, I'm getting older, and I realize, because I watch thousands of films, thousands. I have downstairs in my archive, I have hundreds, thousands of tapes. Like, so I watch almost every fighter, all the way from like the 1900s to 1930s and 40s and 50s, 60s, all the way 2000, all that, you know. So, but now I'm just being myself. It's better to be myself, you know, because I always try to do something like these fighters, you know, like all the time in the ring. My fights coming up and stuff like that, I would try to imitate, like, you know, another fighter, and I wouldn't try to be me. I would be another fighter in the ring. Like, I would be like, I'm Duran today. Like this, in this fight, I'll be like Duran. In this fight, I'll be like Pernell. In this fight, I'll be like, but now I'm coming out, and I'm the Rougarou. I'm me. I'm Regis now.
Who's the one fighter fighting today that even you enjoy watching? When he's on, you're like, you know what? I got to turn it on. I got to watch this guy fight.
It's a few, man. Pacquiao, the legend Pacquiao, of course. You know, he's a legend. He's one of my top two. You know, definitely Pacquiao. But as far as, like, you know, newer generations, the Charlo twins, you know, we grew up together, and to be honest, man, Marlon Mel, like, they was a big inspiration to me, because I used to go pick I'm a year older than them. So, you know, I had a car before them, and I used to go pick these dudes up to go to the gym, you know, and like, it's crazy to see, like, they're world, you know, I was a world champion too, but they're still world champions. They just fought in their first pay-per-view doubleheader. That was crazy. And like, I remember me and Mel catching the bus to the gym before, you know, like my car had broke for a little while. So me and Mel would catch the bus. Like, we would like hang together all the time in high school and stuff like that. And like, I always tell them, bro, y'all was inspiration to me, because, you know, y'all started making it way for, like, at the time, when I first got to Savannah, they was like high level amateurs and stuff, and I was just getting up, but don't want to brag, but I was good enough. I had to spar with them, basically. You know, they used to kick my ass, but I used to have to spar with Marlon Mel or whatever, and because I couldn't spar the starters, you know, because I would be whooping their ass and stuff like that. So I had to spar with Jamal and Jamel. And, you know, we just got real close. You know, from there, we just always got, like, real close. And I got a lot of stories with these dudes or whatever. But, you know, them two, like, they real big inspiration and stuff like that, because it's like, damn, y'all, you know, y'all, and they was world champions, of course, before me. And I remember Mel showing me some of his checks, like, damn, you getting paid that? That like, I remember like him showing me a check from a sponsorship. And that's, like I said, that's when I was getting paid nothing. Like, damn, you getting paid that from a sponsorship? Bro, this will be my whole year, basically. And he getting that from a sponsorship check and just showing me his checks and stuff. And like, dog, like, I can really do this. Like, they did it. I can really do this, you know? So that was always a big inspiration for me.
Wow. All right, Regis. For those who come on the show, we always let people who watch submit questions, and we got a few here from social media for you. We'll get right to them. This one comes from Facebook from Paulie. He says, can you beat my guy, Adrien Granados?
Definitely. Of course. Granados, of course. Man, listen, you know what? I don't like beefing with these fighters. You know why? Because every time I beef with a fighter, we don't fight. Every time. I think Granados was like one of the first people I was supposed to fight, and it just kind of never happened. One of the first people we was going at it. I was going at it with stuff like that, and we just never fought. But Granados a cool dude too, man. I met him in LA at a fight. Before I moved to LA, I had met him in LA and stuff at a fight, and we was all cool, taking pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, Granados, yeah, I definitely will beat Granados for sure.
I'm with you. I like Adrien Granados, a really cool cat. This one comes from Twitter. It says, what's the likelihood that you could face Mario Barrios since you two will be fighting on the same card?
That might be a fight. I mean, it could be. It definitely could be a fight. We'll see. You know, we'll see what the plans is, you know, and he does have a belt also. He has the WBA regular. You know, I was a WBA super champion, but he has the WBA regular. So maybe, you know, that definitely could be a fight also.
And for people who don't know, tell them what Rougarou means.
Rougarou, baby, it's the swamp monster from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Louisiana swamps, you're looking at them, you know. That's what the Rougarou is.
Okay.
Folklore legend. Now, it's supposed to be real. Now, I done had some cousins that say they didn't see him.
It's like Bigfoot, huh? They didn't see him.
But yeah, they say that I had some cousins. They say that I didn't see the Rougarou. Basically, like the Rougarou is like kind of like the boogeyman and stuff. Like you tell kids the Rougarou gonna get you if you don't go to sleep, you don't eat, brush your teeth, and all that type of shit. So that's what the Rougarou is or whatever. But yeah, But I had some cousins seen the Rougarou like you. Whatever. All right.
Okay. All right, Regis, we've come to the last segment of this show. We call it The Last Stand. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I want the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready?
Got it.
All right, here we go. Best fighter right now at 140 pounds, in your opinion?
Me. At 140, me, of course.
There's a couple of guys that got a couple of belts.
I don't care about the belts, man. Listen, if I would have got the nod against Josh Taylor, then who would have been the best? Me,
you would have been the unified champ. You'd been the unified champ.
With the Ring Magazine belt, and if I would have got the nod against him, if it was here, maybe that would have happened. Me, definitely, for sure. Me.
Okay.
Good, though. Don't get me wrong.
Which is a New Orleans boxer biggest weakness? Gumbo, etouffee, red beans or rice, or beignets?
Man, you know what? They got one more. Women. Women is the first one. But probably the gumbo. If I had to pick from yours, it'd probably be the gumbo.
You too much.
That's every fight. It ain't just New Orleans fight, but that's every fight. And women in party. New Orleans, women in party.
Okay. I got you. Okay, you've talked about moving up to fight guys like Mikey Garcia, Terrence Crawford. Which one of those fights you think is more realistic?
Maybe Mike Garcia over Terrence Crawford. You know, Terrence Crawford, they say they're on the other side of the street, you know, so I don't think that'll happen, you know, but maybe Mike Garcia fight. I think that's realistic.
Who's more New Orleans, Master P or Lil Wayne?
Oh, man, that's hard, man. That's hard, bro. That's hard. Listen, P is like up there, you know what I'm saying? P is like the man, but Wayne my favorite rapper. Tune is like the man to us.
Right.
Like my generation, give me that. I know my phone ring here. Tune is like the, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's hard. I can't even put one.
Okay, I'm gonna let you slide on that one. Last question. By this time next year, Regis Prograis will be what?
I'll be a champion again. I'll be a champion again. I have to be a champion again. That I have some type of belt. I'll be a champ. I have to be a champion again. Have to.
Regis Prograis, man, I appreciate this time, my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Listen, folks, this is what we do on The Last Stand. We bring you the biggest names in sports and entertainment, just like Regis Prograis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right, man. Thank you. Have a good one.